Today, we bring you the latest national seat projection and vote projections from 338 Canada, updated as of April 6, 2025. National seat projections overview. According to the current projection, the Liberal Party of Canada remains in the lead with an estimated 195 seats. However, their support shows a wide potential range between 167 and 226 seats, suggesting that while a majority remains possible, it is not guaranteed. The Conservative Party of Canada is projected to secure 122 seats, with their support ranging from 95 to 148 seats, indicating that while they remain a strong opposition force, they are still trailing behind the Liberals. The Bloc Québécois is forecasted to win 16 seats, with some fluctuation possible between 6 and 26 seats, making them a significant but regionally limited presence in Quebec. Meanwhile, the New Democratic Party, or NDP, is seeing modest gains, currently projected at 9 seats, with a possible range between 1 and 15 seats. Finally, the Green Party of Canada is projected to win 1 seat, although projections suggest they could end up anywhere between 0 and 2 seats. Now, moving into the regional breakdown, starting with Atlantic Canada, which includes 32 federal districts, the Liberal Party continues to dominate this region, projected to win 27 of the 32 available seats. The Conservatives, while competitive in certain ridings, are expected to pick up around 5 seats here. This strong Liberal performance in Atlantic Canada reinforces their national lead and provides a key foundation for their seat count. Moving on to Quebec, home to 78 federal districts. The Liberals are again in a commanding position, projected to win 49 seats, demonstrating significant strength across the province. The Bloc Québécois, the province's sovereignist party, maintains a considerable presence with 16 seats, although their potential seat range reflects uncertainty. The Conservative Party is also competitive in Quebec, projected to secure 12 seats, which could play a critical role if they aim to close the gap with the Liberals nationally. The NDP, which has struggled in Quebec since the Orange Wave of 2011, is projected to win just 1 seat here. Turning to Ontario, Canada's most populous province with 122 federal districts. The Liberals continue to enjoy a strong lead, projected to win 81 seats, though this represents a slight decline compared to previous numbers. The Conservatives are poised to make gains, with 37 seats projected, signaling growing competitiveness in suburban and rural ridings. The New Democrats are expected to win 3 seats, primarily in urban centers, and the Green Party could also pick up 1 seat. Ontario remains a decisive battleground where small shifts could dramatically impact the final outcome. In the Prairie provinces, which encompass Manitoba and Saskatchewan and account for 28 districts, the Conservatives remain dominant with 18 seats, although this marks a slight decline from their traditional strength in the region. The Liberals are showing signs of growth here, projected to capture 7 seats, a significant improvement compared to previous elections. The NDP holds steady in the Prairies with a projection of 3 seats, concentrated in urban areas such as Winnipeg and Regina. Heading west to Alberta with 37 federal districts. The Conservatives continue to be the dominant force, projected to win 31 seats, maintaining Alberta as one of their most reliable strongholds. The Liberals are showing some signs of life with a projection of 5 seats, though the number could vary significantly depending on local races. The NDP is also in the mix, with a projection of 1 seat, keeping a foothold in the province's urban centers. Moving further west to British Columbia, which has 43 federal districts, the race here is far more competitive. The Liberals are projected to win 23 seats, but their range shows some vulnerability, as it fluctuates between 16 and 30 seats. The Conservatives are close behind with 19 seats, and the momentum appears to be shifting slightly in their favor. The NDP is expected to win 1 seat, with some chances of additional gains, and the Green Party is still a factor, with a possibility of securing up to 1 seat British Columbia remains one of the most volatile regions where last-minute shifts could heavily impact the national totals. Finally, looking at Canada's three northern territories, Yukon, Northwest Territories, and Nunavut, which together represent three federal districts. The Liberals are projected to sweep all three seats, though one or two of these ridings could be competitive. The New Democrats and the Conservatives each have a small chance of winning a seat, but the Liberals remain the clear front runners in the north. The latest national vote projection from 338 Canada, updated as of April 6, 2025. Nationally, the Liberal Party of Canada leads the race with 44% of the popular vote, with a margin of error of plus or minus 5%. This means the Liberal support could realistically range anywhere between 39% and 49%. Following behind, the Conservative Party of Canada stands at 37% with a 4% margin of error, putting their true support somewhere between 33 and 41%. The New Democratic Party is polling at 8%, with a margin of error of 2%, suggesting their actual support is likely between 6 and 10%. The Bloc Québécois stands at 6% nationally, with a 1% margin of error, meaning they are polling between 5 and 7% overall. Now let's take a closer look at the numbers region by region. Starting with Atlantic Canada, the Liberal Party is dominating here with 56% support and a margin of error of 7%. This places their actual support between 49 and 63%, a commanding lead in the region. The Conservatives are polling at 34% in Atlantic Canada, with a 6% margin of error, meaning their support could be anywhere between 28 and 40%. The NDP holds 7% support, with a 3% margin of error, putting their actual range between 4 and 10%. Moving to Quebec, the Liberals continue their strong showing with 43% support and a 6% margin of error. This suggests their support could realistically range from 37 to 49%. The Bloc Québécois is polling at 24% with a 4% margin of error, meaning their true support could lie between 20 and 28%. Meanwhile, the Conservatives are close behind at 23%, also with a 4% margin of error, placing them between 19 and 27%. The NDP trails with 5% support within a 2% margin of error, meaning they could be between 3 and 7%. Now on to Ontario. The Liberals hold a significant lead here with 49% support and a 6% margin of error. This suggests their real support could be between 43 and 55%. The Conservatives are at 39%, again with a 6% margin of error, giving them a range between 33 and 45%. The NDP is at 8% with a 3% margin of error, putting their range between 5 and 11%. In the prairies, the Conservative Party leads with 49% support with a 6% margin of error, placing them between 43 and 55%. The Liberals stand at 34% with a 6% margin of error, meaning their actual range is between 28 and 40%. The NDP captures 12% support within a 4% margin of error, suggesting a range of 8 to 16%. Turning to Alberta, the Conservatives dominate with 58% support and a 6% margin of error, which translates to a range of 52 to 64%. The Liberals hold 28% with a 5% margin of error, meaning they range from 23 to 33%. The NDP is at 8% with a 3% margin of error, suggesting their true support is between 5 and 11%. Now to British Columbia. The Liberals are ahead with 42% support, but facing a 6% margin of error, meaning their real support could range from 36 to 48%. The Conservatives are close behind at 39%, with the same 6% margin of error, suggesting a range between 33 and 45%. The NDP is at 14%, with a 4% margin of error, meaning their support could be between 10 and 18%. The Green Party holds 3%, within a 2% margin of error ranging from 1 to 5%. Finally, in the territories, the Liberals are polling at 47%, but with a larger 9% margin of error, putting their range between 38 and 56%. The Conservatives are at 31%, with an 8% margin of error, meaning their support could range from 23 to 39%. The NDP stands at 18% with a 7% margin of error, suggesting a wide range between 11 and 25%. And the Greens are polling at 4% within a 3% margin of error, meaning they could range from 1 to 7%. That's the latest snapshot of Canada's political landscape. Stay tuned for more updates. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow for the latest election updates and projections.